Hawkstone Sundowner Lager.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. First things first, little couple of announcements as I normally do on these videos. I was out with a mate the other night and we went for a beer locally, and he was telling me about a pub, or not a pub, it's more like a craft beer place in Maidstone, and he said, did you know that Cloudwater were down there the other day? The actual brewers were doing like an open day. Now, of course, Cloudwater come from Manchester, and I don't know, it wasn't the head of Cloudwater, it was, I think it was one of the brewers, a lady by all accounts, and he went to it. Unfortunately, he didn't tell me, which was a real pisser, because I would have gone down there and I would have torn him a new arsehole about the shit that they're trying to do with traditional style beers, i.e. putting American style hops in Pilsners. But he did tell me that they were having a complete rethink about their lager, and they wanted to model it on a Bavarian style Helles, and they wanted to remodel the Pilsner as well. And they've had a few goes at it and they've scrapped it because it didn't taste that good, and they were comparing it to Bavarian lagers. Now, I don't know whether they've been watching my videos. I really do, how can I put this? I really have got delusions of grandeur if I think that brewers are actually looking at my videos. They're probably not. They're probably saying, who's that fucking angry bearded twat, and what's he moaning about this time? But he did say that the whole thing about them experimenting, they were going to concentrate more on their core range, and they were going to try and get a decent lager brewed based on a Bavarian Helles, using German hops and German style malt, etc. I don't know. If that's the case, then kudos to them for trying. The proof, as I say, is always in the tasting. If they can come anywhere near a Bavarian Helles, then that'll be a good thing. However, I would have still ripped them a new one about the 440ml scam. What do they call it? Shrinkflation. What happened to 500ml? And I also would have had a go at them about their pricing, because quite frankly, it's fucking extortionate for their beers. So yeah, maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing, I do not know. But I'm always on a quest for a good British lager, something that could compete with the Germans. And the only ones that have come close, I know I'm like a fucking broken record, and I say this in all my videos where I'm trying British lager, but the only ones that have even come close to something that the Germans are doing was a Sam Smith's Organic Ale. The C84 Brewery do quite a nice Yorkshire ale, but that is typically English, and I like the fact they've called it an English lager and it's using English hops. So they're the two for me that stand out. But I have been hearing really good things about Hawkstone. Now, if you've not heard of Hawkstone, they are, it's basically a farm, all right? And if you're a fan of Top Gear, or you've heard of Jeremy Clarkson, well, he basically, when Top Gear folded, well, he didn't fold, they had to leave. I think Jeremy Clarkson chinned someone, and yeah, the BBC being the BBC got the right arsehole with him and fucked him off. And I think I wasn't a massive fan of Top Gear, I must admit, but it was obviously popular, because I do recall a lot of people talking about it, and even people from Europe as well, and America too. They used to watch it and thought it was great, and they had some chemistry, the three of them, the James May, Jeremy Clarkson, and Richard Hammond. Yeah, it was quite entertaining. They were quite funny, and they used to get up to quite funny antics. But that's all gone now, and Jeremy Clarkson decided to open up his own farm, and he called the farm Diddley Squat Farm, and it's based in the Cotswolds. And If you've never watched the series, they made I think it was either on Amazon or was it Netflix? No, it was Amazon. And they did 3 series of him basically just working a farm. Now, if you're not a fan of Jeremy Clarkson, I get it. He's not everybody's cup of tea. Personally, he says crass things, and I'm not sort of on board with a lot of his views, but I don't mind the geezer. There's a hell of a lot worse out there. I see quite a while back, who's the comedian, the real Frankie Boyle. Now, Frankie Boyle is fucking obnoxious. Some of the jokes he says are way below the belt. Very, very sick. I don't mind it. I find him quite funny, actually, some of the stuff he's come out with, but it is below the belt. And if you're easily offended, don't fucking watch him. But Frankie Boyle, the purveyor of absolute depravity, was offended by Jeremy Clarkson. And I just thought the fucking irony. To put it into perspective, Frankie Boyle makes jokes about people getting cancer and he wishes cancer on people in a joking way. But he was offended by Jeremy Clarkson. And I just thought that the fucking irony is lost on a comedian. But there you go. That's just my opinion on that one. But as I say, he bought a farm, complete novice, and didn't realise what he was taking on. And this is basically a documentary about him trying to work this farm. It's really entertaining. I'm not a massive fan of watching TV, full stop, but I did find that really interesting. But what I found even more interesting, well, there was quite a few things, but the main thing was how hard farmers work and how we should never take them for granted, because they work their fucking arses off so as we've got food on the table. They really do, and they have my utmost respect. They are the unsung heroes of not just this country, but any country. They really do work hard in all weathers. And speaking of the weather, their crops are so dependent on the weather, depending what type of farm it is. But yeah, it's a real hard life, and they have my utmost respect for what they do. They have to be a jack of all trades: mechanics, farmers. They've got to know livestock. It's just, honestly, it's just a full-time job. You can never relax. But it also highlighted how much people don't like Jeremy Clarkson. Now, Jeremy Clarkson actually came across quite well in this documentary, and he was trying to promote the local businesses. He was trying to form some kind of union between all the local farmers who were struggling at the time. And he said, if we can help each other, we can produce products using each other's produce, then we can make money for everyone, and it will give a little bit of a boost. And he wanted to pour money into that. And one person on the local council objected, and they didn't object on the grounds that because he was going to create jobs and everything, it was going to help out the local farmers. It was brilliant. It's a brilliant idea. And this fucking dick said no, just because he didn't like Jeremy Clarkson. And I think that's absolutely disgusting. That's putting your ego before helping out the local community. He should have been fucked off of that council and banned from ever holding any position like that ever again in his life, because his ego was what ruled that decision. Real shame. I did feel sorry for Jeremy Clarkson. But I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but one of the things he did, he used to grow malt, or barley I should say, or wheat, whatever you want to call it. He used to grow barley on his farm, and he wanted a little bit of an outlet or an income, so he decided to brew some beer. Now, the result was the Hawkstone Lager, and I've heard good things about it. A lot of people have said that they like it, who've tried it. I haven't tried it yet, but I did manage to get some of this stuff. I was hoping to get some of the Hawkstone Lager, but they only had the Hawkstone Sundowner Lager. There's a couple of alarm bells in this, but I'll get onto that in the next section. But it looks quite promising. The Hawkstone Premium Lager was the one that they were talking about, and it's quite funny. If you've never seen the ads for it, go on the website. But the British Advertising Board of Control, or whatever they're called, they banned all the ads because Jeremy Clarkson was promoting drinking before work in the morning. That got banned. One of the slogans was the beer was better than Birmingham. I don't know what's so offensive about that, but in one of the ads he was drinking it, he went, "Fuck me, that's good," and that went out as an ad, and they just stopped it completely. But yeah, I like the style. It's a bit anarchic, and yeah, I've got more respect for just the way he operates than fucking Brewdog have. But there you go. I'm not going to fucking go into that one. On Brewdog, you saw the last shore leave video. I had some quite positive comments about that. Well, positive, I say, but people agreeing with me. Not many people are a fan of Brewdog. No doubt I'll get the odd Brewdog fanboy slagging me off. I don't care. Call me what you like. It's water off a duck's back. Being 5 foot and a fag packet, being half Irish and having a beard, believe me, I have fucking been called everything in my lifetime, and it doesn't bother me. Hey, whatever happened to sticks and stones? Right, this beer, this brewery, this beer is brewed in a brewery by the produce from Jeremy Clarkson's Diddley Squat farm. But obviously they don't brew it on the farm, they have to take it to the brewery. That brewery is the Cwal Brewing Company. Now, I've only ever had one of their beers, and I never reviewed it, but it was a porter, and I do recall it being absolutely fucking amazing. So this Cwal Brewing Company, know what they're doing. Their beer was really good, and I need to get some of that on the channel because it's really good. But it's very, very hard to get hold of, and I'm sort of half wondering, should I do that or not, because it could be falling on deaf ears. But keep an eye out for them if you're ever around that area, sort of the Oxfords, Cotswolds, Gloucestershire, that way, because the beer from that brewery I think is pretty good. Certainly the porter, I was really, really impressed with that, and sadly I didn't review it. But there you go, that's by the by. Let's get on to this beer, because in the next section there are a couple of alarm bells, and I'm really, really hoping that my fears aren't realised, because it's going to send me into a rant. So let's get on to the next section. Right, this is a 4% ABV 330ml can of Hawkstone Summer Lager. Now this is a summer lager, they've called it. It is just fucking open. The heavens have just opened out there. It's like a fucking monsoon. So why am I drinking a summer lager? Who knows? So what does it say? Say hello to our new Hawkstone Sundowner 4% Summer Lager. Brewed with sunshine in mind, we've used British Oldi as our primary hop. I'll get onto that in a sec. For a fruity and tropical character. There's the alarm bell. Also ringing the changes, we've used flaked rice in the brewing process. That's another alarm bell. I'll get onto that in a sec. Really allowing the Oldi to shine through. Hawkstone Sundowner is all about easy drinking. It's about festivals and fun. It's about parks and gardens and good times. More marketing fucking flim flam. Ingredients: malted barley, water, you fucking twat. Send these glasses back. Water, malted barley, hops, rice, and yeast. Right, let's get on to the two alarm bells. Oldi hops, first of all. Oldi, the Oldi hops that they've got have come from the United Kingdom. So in this beer, all the ingredients are from the United Kingdom. But Oldi hops, the characteristics are, the flavours are mango, grapefruit and passion fruit. Again, in a lager. Why do people do this? Lager should not have them style flavours in there. Call it something else. Call it a bottom fermented American style lager or something like that. But lager, no, they shouldn't call it a lager. Call it American style ale or something like that. I suppose ale is top fermented, so yeah. Oh yeah, I suppose you could call it lager. But there is one thing about this lot. They do lager their beer for quite a long time, at least 6 weeks. So that's over a month. The Germans do it for 3 months, and I think that's why it tastes better. But the big alarm bell for me is the rice. Now, I don't know why they put rice in it. Coming from an agricultural background and coming from an agricultural area, there is fucking no excuse to put rice into a beer. I really don't get it. To me, it smacks of cheapness. AB InBev do it quite a lot. Certainly do it in their Jupiler beer, and they use it in Budweiser as well. Again, Jupiler isn't bad actually, I will give you that, but Budweiser, fuck off. That is dog shit, and if you put rice in it, then, well, yeah, that explains it. I will give a little bit of a squeeze to the Far Eastern brewers, because malted barley isn't in abundance in them sort of countries. The climate's wrong, and it's not going to taste quite the same, I don't think. So I can half excuse rice in there. But the thing is with that, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a very, very light, pale, thin-bodied, not much flavour in there. So yeah, that's kind of characteristic of Far Eastern lager. But to me, people in Europe brewers in Europe who are using rice in their beer, it just smacks of cheapness. It just smacks of I don't know, just taking shortcuts. You know, I always say, and I've said this until I'm blue in the face, simple ingredients, good quality ingredients, and good brewing knowledge are the 3 key items to making good beer. If you put cheap adjuncts like rice, and rice is an adjunct in my opinion, if you put cheap adjuncts in there like that, shit in, shit out. That's my opinion. So I had high hopes for this Hawkstone Sundowner. Now, this isn't the premium lager. I'll give the premium lager a go when I can get hold of some. But for now, we're just doing this Sundowner. And to be honest, there are massive alarm bells. But let's get it into the glass and let's see if my fears are founded or unfounded. Right. Well, it's a little bit lively. Into the Oldi Glass. Well, it's very pale. I knew it was going to be pale to start off with. And that glass ain't great. It's not clean. Oh, that is really light. Can you see that? That's really light. I've probably seen a couple of Hellas's that light before, but not many. They've got a little bit more colour to them. On the nose. Well, there's the grapefruit. That's the first thing that hits me. Grapefruit and sulphur. And there's an earthiness to it as well, and resinous pine as well. Oh God. This does not smell good. This is a fucking Cloudwater job. This is what Cloudwater were doing to their Pilsners. That's what I was ranting about earlier. Oh, this does not fucking look good at all. Well, it doesn't smell good. Yeah. Oh, God. I really, really don't like slagging off English brewers, but for Christ's sake, man. Why would you do that? Why would you put Olicana hops in a lager? I don't get it. Maybe it's just me. Some people may like this. Not my thing. Sorry. I don't like the fruit cocktail in traditional style beers. It just doesn't go. It doesn't work. Call it an American ale. Yes, at least we know. Why do you have to bastardise traditional style beers? Anyway, I'm not going to go into a rant yet until I taste it. So, without further ado, let's get it down my Gregory Peck. Bottoms up. First thing that strikes me, thin body. Very thin body. I expected that anyway though. The fruit cocktail is not so much there. There's not, like, they're talking about passion fruit and mango. This is more about the grapefruit. But there's a fair amount of pine in there as well. I am getting that pine style flavour on there. I'm not a massive fan of it, and I don't like it in lager. It just doesn't fit. When I drink a lager, I want noble hop character. I want a little bit of spice, some floral notes and some herbal notes. That fresh cut grass and hay, that's what I want, with a little bit of black pepper spice on there, and of course a nice malty bready backbone with some honey esters coming from the yeast. Or is it phenols? I don't know. Phenols or esters? Is it esters are, I think esters are the spice and phenols are the sweetness, the flowery notes. I don't know. Anyway, back to this. Let's have another go. Well, there is a little bit of that honey sweetness on there. And it is very light, 4%. So, yeah, they have got the summer in mind with that, but it's not for me. I'm trying to be nice, because I can see that Jeremy Clarkson did have noble ideas, trying to start the farm up and what he was trying to do with it. But with this particular one, and they said this is supposedly a limited edition, but because it sold so well, they've had to produce more of it. But it's just not for me. How much was it? Let me have a look. I've got it from the House of Trembling Madness. Oh, fucking hell. Do you know how much that was? That was £3.10. Well, that for 330ml. That is £1 for 100ml of this. I know they've got overheads, I know the costs and everything, but what about the working man just getting a bit of a fucking squeeze and getting a quality product? No, that's... Any positivity I had on this beer, it's just gone out the window. Is there any positivity? Well, it's light. It could have been good. It could have been good, I think, if they'd have got rid of the rice and the Olicana and just used the right hops in there. Don't know why they did that, but the whole package, everything is just, for me, saying So what is the verdict on Hawkstone Sundowner Lager? Well, there was alarm bells at the start, and yeah, it's just not doing it for me. I like my lagers traditional. Now, people's tastes are different. Some people may like this. If you have this really cold on a summer's day, then yeah, I imagine you're going to like this. It's 4%, so it's not too hefty, so you're not going to be out your nut. But fucking hell, £3.10 for that. This day's definitely not worth it. There's no nasties in there. I will say it. There's nothing that's going to make me want to chuck it down the sink. But it comes back to my adage that, and I have to reserve judgment on Hawkstone because I haven't tried the premium lager. That could be good. But my adage is, if you're brewing traditional styles, there's nowhere to hide. You have to get it right, otherwise it's going to taste bad. As soon as you introduce American hops into the equation, then, you know, you're covering up a multitude of sins because the flavours are so strong, and yeah, you could basically get away with, I wouldn't say anything, but it covers a lot of mistakes and a lot of shortcomings. I think if you're serious about brewing, then brew me a decent bitter, a decent lager, and I'll tell you how good a brewery you are. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not a brewer. I know there are other factors involved, but I am a consumer. I am I'm the target market for these people. And if I'm going to be parting with my hard-earned cash, I believe I have a right to an opinion. And yes, you may disagree with my opinion. Taste is subjective. However, that's my philosophy. If a brewer can't brew a decent lager, can't brew a decent bitter, can't brew a traditional style beer, any of them, even a golden ale, top fermented, without putting American hops in there, just using traditional English ingredients, then yeah, maybe European ingredients, I'll go that far. But this whole fruit cocktail thing, it ain't doing it for me. This has got a lot wrong with it. Not flavour wise, because it is relatively drinkable. The fruit cocktail flavours are there, but they're not massive. It's quite light bodied, easy drinking. I will give them that. They did say it was easy drinking. However, the hop choice for me is a bit of a cop out. And the price as well. I mean, the price is a big factor for me. The price in these times when people are a bit skint, paying £3.10 for 330ml. It's got to be fucking outstanding for that. When you can get German stuff for more or less the same price, 500ml, and you know you're getting a quality product. That's what you're up against. That's the sad fact, and it's why I keep fucking hammering home. Up your game, British brewers, when it comes to lager. You're never going to win. You're always going to be on the back foot. And is there any reason, is there any wonder why breweries are closing at a rate of knots? Yes, I get that the times are hard and all that, but if you're brewing a great product, people are going to buy it at a competitive price. I'm not knocking you for the price too much. I know everybody's got overheads, but so is the consumer as well. And there needs to be some happy medium in between. And at the moment, it's not there. The government, of course, you can point a finger at the government, putting the taxes on the beers and all that. But yeah, the product's got to be good. For me, it's not. There's no nasties in there. I will finish that. Never buy it again. It's. I think they got it wrong from the start. Personally, some people may like it. Some people like their mildly tropical flavours. Not for me. Not in a lager. If I was drinking a New England or a West Coast or just an American pale ale, then yeah, I get it. And in fact, if they'd labelled that an American style pale ale or whatever, but just to call it a lager, nah, it's not. I'm not having it. I'm going to give it a 4.5. I'm toying between the idea of 4.5 and a 5. It's not, at the end when I say I'm drinking this shit, it's not utter shit. It's just got too many factors. I'll give it a 5, but you've got to take into these factors if you're going to buy this stuff, because £3.10 for 330ml for that is just not worth it. So there you go. And remember, fruit cocktails don't belong in lager.